Trying to find like.
Woo-hoo! What's up, Joe?
Not much, man. Just like trying to stay head above water. It seems.
Got a
Um,
new episode of Mission DeFi out with Scott Lewis, founding contributor of Canto.
I saw that. Looks cool, man. I can't wait to listen to it or watch
It's a
it.
good chat. When I was editing it, going back through, I'm like, he's a funny guy, but he's just kind of very mellow and cool and calm and collected dude, living in Nashville, just chill. But we really got into a lot of the fucking ethos of the system, why he created it, how he created it, what's motivation is. We talked about things like what's a success to him if the whole thing fucking fails and doesn't succeed. Is he happy with the experiment anyway? And yeah, those kinds of questions. So we talked about a lot of that, how the rev share for developers will work, and what's going on, what it's been like seeing the community kind of like sink or swim, because there's no core team to dive into shit. So anyway, it's cool. It's very cool. It's up on missiondefi.com, folks. You can check it out or check my Twitter feed if you want to give it a retweet, whatever. Take a look at it. I really like what he's doing. I like his approach. So,
Well, ever since you turned us on to that play, I mean, I think you were the first one. You were the first one I heard about it from.
probably, yeah.
Unless it was one of your guests that you brought on that was talking about it.
No,
Can't
I
remember,
just
but
stumbled. I think I stumbled upon it from a tweet and checked it out. And yeah.
I think Fubar mentioned it to us too, right? When he came on the show once, didn't he?
No, you know what? I bet it was his tweet that got me, because he wasn't doing Canto at the time he came on the show. And then
Oh.
I think he may have tweeted that he was building on it, and that's what got me
Oh.
interested in it. That may have
Yeah.
been it. I don't remember.
Well,
Anyway,
Well, it's like a second source validation. I mean, two people
Yeah.
that have their act together, and one comes in and sees it and goes, "Oh yeah, I want to get involved." I mean, that's pretty cool.
you talking about me when you said two people that have their act together?
No, I was talking about
The guy-
the guy you interviewed and
the guy-
Fubar.
The guy who's, I was going to say, you better be, because this is the guy that's right now posting yesterday's fucking episode. So,
Yeah, no. You were the third source confirmation. All right.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say, no fucking
Yeah.
way, dude.
I know the feeling, man. Just swamped right now. But it's good swamped. It's like what I used to say in my younger days. It's like good problems to have, like too many girlfriends.
Yeah.
That was always the kind of stuff you like,
High class problems.
There you go. But it is what it is. It's better than sitting in an echo chamber with nothing going on. Just banging your head on the drum.
Absolutely.
So, good job finding that for us.
Hey, what's going on in CPI world?
They hit the number 6.5, I believe it was. I mean, all the speculation. This is all about really whether the next hike was going to be 50 bips or 25 bips, and pretty much everything I see from even the Fed individual board members, their notes is that like 25 bips is basically 100% locked in.
Okay.
So what we're seeing is maybe a couple of 25s to stay steady and holding a lot. Consider that the holding pattern too at the same time, and then waiting to see what happens. So the only thing sticky still so far, of course, are those pesky food and energy prices, which is the stuff that hits, let's say the working men and women the hardest, because they have to feed families and kids and buy heating oil or gasoline or whatever. But gasoline pricing is down. I mean, the big sticky stuff, and I don't have it all broken out in front of me, but I remember when I looked at it, it's in a tweet that I put out about 8:30 this morning. It looked like transportation was holding above 10. Looked like heating oil was like a huge number up. Like I want to say, over last year. And I remember these are year over year numbers. We're not measuring like the difference between last month and this month. Heating oil was up 20-30% or something like that. So, we know in the Northeast, heating oil, or out in the West and North, it's used a lot. So people are going to fill that when they come to fill up that tank for the season.
Fuck yeah.
And in food, it was mainly the big drivers were eating out still, which I think is still a catch up from, pandemic years. Although it is always a little challenging when you look at a menu and see that cheeseburger is like $17.95.
Dude,
and it's not Wagyu beef or Kobe or anything.
Yeah, you can't get out of fucking Burger King for less than $12 a person.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So, I do a lot of shopping at stores, and eating from stores when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
It's a little cheaper, although, I see the prices going up there, and not just my famous miso paste, but, I see I did just pick up a cooked chicken at Fresh Market this morning after my run, and those are still like a whole chicken for $7 on Thursday. I mean, you can't beat that deal, but there's still deals still out there. But a lot of the stuff that was like maybe $5.99 2 years ago is all like $8.99, $9.99. So, and it looks a little bit smaller, to be honest. So, you see that sizing going on, but it's just you got to cook for yourself during these years or these months. Unless you have the money and or expensing it or don't care. But if you're trying to feed a family of 4 on a, let's say non-skilled labor income, services industry stuff where, you're dependent upon a whole bunch of other stuff, it's going to be hard. So again,
or if
what
you're
do
doing
I do
a podcast for free?
Yeah. Like, hey, I just mixed up a big old, 50-gallon pot of rice and beans if you want to come over later,
I got to tell you, my wife has been on fire cooking at home lately.
Good.
So, we did street tacos the other night. Oh, fucking good. Oh, so good.
Nice.
So good.
Yeah.
So
I think we're good.
what's our overall impact of this situation with the CPI stuff?
I didn't see much. I mean, BTC's up 4.4%. ETH is up 4.6%. S&P and NASDAQ are off like a fraction, like 0.06, 0.15. Dow's up. NYSE's up. Nothing major, less than a point. Although, it's a different thing. Europe's DAX is up, less than a point. Everything's kind of sitting there. So I think everybody was expecting this to hit. Because you don't see any big movements.
There's no big surprise today.
No, nothing. No big surprise. I mean, the whole driver of this is just what is the Fed going to do? And from our perspective, it's, everybody waiting for a pivot or stimmy or rate cuts or something like that. And you can't start thinking about that until you stop the upward cycle. So everybody's trying to figure out where that tops. I mean, I know these guys want to get to 6, but I don't see how they do it. I see how they get to like 5, 5.25, which they've been telegraphing that for 6 months now, with a couple of, I think they're at 4.25 now. So, 3.25s and boom, you're on 5. And, nobody's going to blink when it's going 25s. And also remember, this affects dollar strength too. So, when you look at, I haven't looked at DXY today, but when you think about it, this is eventually, capital flows in because you get a higher risk-free interest rate here. But at the same time, it makes our exports more expensive. So we haven't seen that yet trickle in, but I would expect you'll start seeing that this year. And then in that case, you would see some interest in, cutting rates to make the dollar cheaper to stimulate exports. But I think right now they're holding steady on that. So Europe can play catch up. Totally different situation. But I think that, them raising rates like they have, I think in the last 2 cycles, pretty aggressively, that lowers that disparity between risk-free deposit returns in the U.S. and risk-free deposit returns in Europe. So you get, you'll get more capital flowing into those markets. So there's so many variables at play, but I think this is just regarded as, okay, thank God, not a 50,
it wasn't a massive,
not a 50 coming.
Yeah. There was nothing horribly surprising, kind of what everybody expected. No bad news, no great news, just
that's my read. Yeah. Cool. I mean, but if you consider that now we know the next hike will be 25 bips, and that's pretty much, everybody's saying that. So let's say 100% are saying that. Doesn't mean it happens, but it seems to me that that's a win. Yeah. On the how much further is the Fed hiking, or how much longer until the Fed starts cutting, which I'm not looking at that yet. I'm just looking at, let's get these prices down, basically, particularly, retail food and energy stuff.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. I'd like for some prices to go down, but
Yeah, I mean, it is. Look, I mean, you got it. People are. I mean, it's their corporations. They do what they want, but
Yep.
they are holding prices, high right now. I mean,
Yeah,
they're the ones that set prices.
they're gouging.
Yeah,
And see, gouging's too strong a word.
yeah,
They are all anticipating the inflation, and they're also all anticipating the opportunity to increase prices because of the inflation, because of the perception, which is just kind of this self-feeding thing, right? It just keeps feeding itself because competitors do it, they do it, suppliers do it. Everybody's trying to get ahead of it and at the same time making some more margin, but it just keeps feeding itself. And that cycle makes it brutally difficult to break, I think, at some point as part of the problem.
well, because nobody starts flooding the market with cheap product.
Right.
If you're getting whatever on your, I mean, pick an item, a water bottle at the store. I mean, it's not like they're going to see high prices. It's not like they're going to all of a sudden go, oh shit, let's double supply. They're going to be like, all right, how do we just hit just enough in there to maintain these pricing levels, but just enough so everybody can get what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's business.
I agree.
But it's not fun when you're on the receiving end of it, and that's why you have to look for alternatives.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of what the market will do, right? Consumers are going to start saying, "Hey, I'm going cheaper, or I'm not buying this shit anymore because everything is up, so I have to make better choices." And then those companies all say, "Oh shit, nobody's buying our shit," right? And then the pressure, the interest rate pressure, is pushing things downward. So I mean, that's where everybody's hoping it all goes.
Well, a good example is think about. I mean, I do this a lot where, I'm running out to a meeting and I might stop at a Starbucks or something and grab like a breakfast sandwich and a cup of coffee. I mean, those breakfast sandwiches are now like $5, $6. I remember when they were like $2.10, and that wasn't in the last millennia. That was like in the last like 5 years. So, think about this, one box of cereal and a quart of milk, let's say, or, soy, rice, milk, whatever, that's going to be about like $8 all in. And that's 5 breakfasts right there.
Yeah.
That you would have spent $10. Or oatmeal is another one of my favorites. You get a bag of oatmeal for like $6 that'll basically feed you for 2 weeks. And you do it in the microwave. You throw 1 cup of it in with 2 cups of water, nuke it for like 2.5 minutes. Throw in some diced up bananas or nuts or whatever your thing is, whatever fruit you got around, raisins even, and eat that. I mean, that stuff will last you for 2 hours. And again, it's like, 70 cents a serving. So, there's ways to do it.
Joe, I want to take this opportunity to announce the new show that we're launching, and that's Joe the Thrifty Chef. That'll be live weekdays at 8:00 p.m. Actually, at 4:00 p.m. just before dinner. So Joe's going to have a new fresh recipe every day to save you money while still having yummy dinners and lunches. Yeah,
it's just it's just breaking it down to the original components, not the processed stuff, and try to eat that. I mean, you get used to it. It's funny, if you don't eat a bunch of sugar, I don't eat a lot of sugar, like, sugary drinks or anything like that. When you don't eat sugar and then you go grab a piece of fruit, like a plum, I love that, Chuck. Thanks, man. Like a plum or an orange or an apple, it tastes so sweet because there's so much natural sugar in there that we just get, blown out by all the massive sugar we intake everywhere else. Yep. But when you taste that, you're like, holy shit. And it's like, your brain uses like 30% of the glucose that your body brings in. So if you don't get enough, you don't think well. Yep. So your brain, it's like alcohol and sweet stuff. You don't eat it because it tastes good. You eat it because your brain knows it's sugar and it wants it, and it says, yummy, eat, eat, eat. That's the same with drinking. Drinking alcohol turns to sugar. So, your brain wants the sugar. So your brain is the one that's tricking you. So, just try to like get out of that processed food cycle and, try to just eat some raw stuff or something.
Yeah. The only way you can is to eat raw stuff because every fucking thing on the shelf has high carbs, has pounds of sugar, and then the shit that they use to substitute it can actually fuck up your digestion more. But anyway,
Yeah.
enough of the food stuff.
Yep.
Chuck said DeFi lunch recipes. Shizzy said great interview with Scott. Just finished it. Is every crypto guy a poker player? Laughing out loud. Yeah, maybe so, dude. There's a lot. There's a lot of fucking poker players. What's his name? Founder of Ravello. Intel is a ex big poker player. You know, it takes that kind of mindset to come in and trade in this world, and they love the competitiveness of it and everything else. So Niblett said maybe prices aren't inflating, but trending to better reflect actual costs after decades of easy money and tech productivity gains and outsourcing to China. I certainly think that can be part of it. I think it's impacted with other things as well, but that certainly can be, you know, some reality check stuff. Niblett said steel cut oatmeal with dried fruit and nuts is worth the 20 minutes it takes to make. I'm happy for all you guys. I have never been an oatmeal fan, so you guys enjoy. I fast in the morning anyway, so I fast usually until 1 o'clock or 2 every day. So I'm not a breakfast guy anymore. I love breakfast. But
damn!
I'm not doing it anymore.
I couldn't do that, dude. I would be passing out at like 10:30 in the morning.
It's really not hard once you get used to it. You just add a little like 30 minutes every time. Right? If you normally eat at 8, wait till 8:30. If you normally eat at 8:30 now, wait till 9. Just to add, you know, a little bit. And the next thing you know, your body's metabolism adjusts, your stomach is adjusted, and it's used to it. And it's like, oh shit, I got to eat. I mean, I've now done 36-hour fasts with a little bit of discomfort in the last 12 hours, but it's doable.
It's good. It's good. Look, we know how the body works. I mean, in America, obviously, in the first world, there's just food everywhere. And so our body burns energy from the food we put in our stomach, unlike most of the world where it burns energy from the fat that stores energy supply. So, you know, there is a good thing about that, in that you force your body to switch from, you know, primary fuel out of stomach to pulling it out of the fat cells and things like that for energy, which, of course, what does that do? Lowers the fat on your body. So, you know, that's a good thing to do if you can maintain that discipline. I tend to eat big in the morning, big at lunch, and then I tone it down at night just because, you know, if I keep eating at that pace, I'm going to be friggin' a balloon.
All right. Dennis T says Ratatouille Joe and Street Taco Brad food hour. Yeah, okay. Let's get back to DeFi. Man.
All right.
Chuck says right niblets, and you can make a big pot of that stuff and it lasts in the fridge all week. Yep, absolutely. No, that's a good way to save. We got lots of beans and rice down here too on the other side of it. So let's see.
What was it? You had a bunch of tabs up yesterday that we didn't get to. We got through Silo and WeGo, and we're again trying
I got
to.
all that. So there's a PwC put out a big global crypto regulation report that I haven't dove into. I'm going to put a link in today's show notes. But by the way, everybody, Sean will be on tomorrow. He and I both thought it was Wednesday today, and so we did not prepare the way we normally prepare for the show. So tomorrow is Sean hour. So he'll be back tomorrow. Okay, let me load up some screens here. I was trying to load up some more shit while you were talking CPI, but then I got myself engaged in the conversation. So here we go. DeFi Llama launch. It's time for your weekly DeFi Llama launch.
Sponsored by.
DeFi Llama has a new dashboard for tracking total value locked in Ethereum liquid staking derivatives, and I love that it's called LSD. This dashboard allows you to easily view the amount of staked ETH, the TVL, and the market share of each protocol. And you know, so right now that's Lido. Let me see if I can find it over here. I haven't actually looked for it since here it is, ETH liquid staking. So you can see who the players are, who has the most in it. Look at this. So Lido has 74.33% of the market. Coinbase wrapped staked ETH has 15.79%. Then we get to the first decentralized player, Rocket Pool, at 5.41%. Stakewise, that I'm not familiar with, at 1.27%. Stake Hound at 1.00%. Anchor, who was really early in the game, at 0.86%, which I found really surprising. I thought they had a bigger presence in the market. And the newcomer, Rax, who is now making it so you can earn up to like 8.7% in their little ecosystem that they got going over there with some restaking opportunities. That's one. If I was going to do liquid staking right now, it would either be Frax or it'd be Rocket Pool. I like the decentralization of Rocket Pool, and there are things you can do with the receipt tokens from Rocket Pool to invest in other places, but Frax is fucking killing it right now.
But we all like Frax.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a natural fit for anyone looking at this.
Yeah, I'd love to see Bean doing something with it. I think that would be fucking phenomenal, and that ecosystem is so powerful that I'm wondering if anybody's noodling on something like that. Eamon, do you have any insights on if anything's going on over there in the Bean ecosystem with regards to LSD? Shared stake. I love saying LSD.
Yeah, drop
shared
a tab,
stake I've
baby.
never heard of at 0.24% of the market. But look at that. I mean, look, that's 2.24% of the market is 22.2 million staked. Right. So if you assume they're taking some cut of 4.5% of the earnings, they got a nice little business running there. Go out there and double, triple your share of market, and staking is profitable business. Anyway,
well,
go ahead.
One thing what I find intriguing is that, I've been getting some pushback from, my TradeFi pals in New York that I've been just reaming on for putting shit into centralized exchanges. And, and I'm like looking at this, you're not pleased with me right now because, I'm like, you guys are all for the insured stuff. Why did you go there? I mean, there's all this other shit that you can do that's uninsured. And so here's a great point right here. Looking at these 9. I mean, just TradeFi guys, you got to look at stuff like this more.
$9 billion.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the stuff that has different levels of decentralization, but to take this out, I think ETH's got to go get taken out. So, this is safer than any SEX you would do anything on.
But this is not financial advice. And it's
not
definitely
financial advice,
safer.
guys.
It's definitely safer than any SEX Joe is going to be talking about. So,
yeah, I'm like, Mr. Safe Sex over here. So I only like, but that's going to sound wrong. I was going to say, what was it? Dexes, not sex. Yeah, I know it's going to sound weird if I say it a certain way, but anyhow, you guys get my point. There's
go ahead.
Between stuff like this, Aave, Curve, all of those things, there's so many more opportunities in this real DeFi world. Yeah, sure, they're not insured, but nothing else you do with it is either. So why not get where the pros are, where you've got a little bit of safety and you don't have the incentives for people to gut it, basically. Not financial advice.
Yes, not financial advice. Niblet says, can you flick that up? I'm looking for something right now, Joe. The last comment
Click
from
what?
Niblets.
I see the Bean needs, got it. This one? From Shizzy, Frax?
Oh, Shizzy said it. Sorry. No. About Bean.
There you
Niblets.
go.
Yeah. I wasn't on that screen, so I can't see what you're doing.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Oh, yeah. Yep. Bean needs to get more aggressive about adding utility.
Right. So,
Niblets.
and I agree. I think that's happening behind the scenes with third parties, but there is actually, I don't even know how the fuck I got in this conversation. I think somebody was criticizing. Yeah. I know what it was. Holistic guy was criticizing stablecoins in general, decentralized stablecoins in general. Somebody mentioned Bean as a better alternative. Guy said Bean is an awesome project, and I've listened to hours about it on my podcast, so I got looped into this thread. But they literally got rugged of the entire treasury. The recovery has been admirable. I just don't see it getting the credibility for a multi-billion inflow this cycle. He was saying how urgently we needed a good decentralized stablecoin in the market. And then Rex the Bean said, hey, guy, keep an eye on Irrigation Proto. They may be part of the answer for Bean. I have not a fucking clue what this is. But you're seeing more things being built on top of Bean that are making use of components of the Bean ecosystem. So irrigation protocol, if anybody knows about it, feel free to chime in here. But an optimization protocol built on top of Beanstalk, Buttonwood, and Olympus, which is interesting to see Olympus playing in this space. and I don't know what it actually does. So it says the sprinklers where farmers can swap their Beanstalk assets for water irrigation protocol's native reward token. Oh wait, are they providing liquidity for?
Is it irrigation.finance?
It is irrigation.finance. Yes, sir.
Thanks. Okay.
So sell your derivative Beanstalk assets for ETH at the Combine. Oh, so they are providing a methodology for people to kind of get in and out of their assets in Bean. Oh, this is interesting because I got some assets sitting around.
How those
Combine
pods
will buy active fertilizer. The fair market offer price will vary based on the needs of irrigation protocol and the fertilizer's future potential yield. So they are doing some cool shit. This is actually awesome because they're basically trying to create a marketplace around the different stock components, fertilizer pieces of the current Bean ecosystem, which was expanded with the recovery attempts. So this is pretty cool. Double-sided auction market that allows a large number of buyers and a large number of sellers to transact with zero slippage. Periodically, the leaky faucet distributes their token water to reward anyone holding stock pods or fertilizer in their faucet. Stake water tokens in the water tower. So the tokens you get, you can stake. And the sprinklers where farmers can swap their Beanstalk assets for water irrigation's token. This is very interesting. I'm sitting on a stack of pods. So got to decide what the value is there, but that's interesting.
So is water their token? Is water the token for irrigation?
Water is their token. Cool. So here's your small chart to the left, Niblets. Irrigation protocol. I'm going to try to take a deeper dive in it this weekend, Joe, but this is pretty cool because I've got a decent amount of assets sitting in Bean at the moment. Part of them given to me for a poker tournament and part of them paid. So I'd love to see a way to leverage some of that further.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Because right now I'm just sitting on it, earning, but sitting on it. And it looks like it's going to be a long time coming. I mean, that's the problem, right? People that have pods that are in the cycle, if activity isn't happening on Bean, then those pods don't realize the value, their increased value, their future value for a much longer time frame. So one of the key things with Bean is getting activity happening with the token, with the protocol, and with people playing in the protocol. And right now, there's not a shit ton of activity happening. So anything that gets people doing more with it and actually being active with it is a good thing. One of the things I talked to Publius about was, they've got to start doing Biz Dev deals for Bean to be integrated with other protocols and get used and people wanting it and people seeing it. The problem is Publius is trying very hard to decentralize themselves out of it. And there has been a bit of there's been some strife amongst the Bean community about actions to be taken or not taken, who's doing biz dev work and marketing work and who's not, and how effective it is and how effective it is not. I'm starting to see some things happening that make me excited about it, but the problem with the protocol is if it gets stagnant, if things aren't happening, if people aren't using Bean, if the marketplace isn't growing, then the people who are supporting the protocol and who tried to support it after the exploit by buying higher interest fertilizer are kind of stuck waiting. I'm one of those people stuck waiting. So I'd like to see a lot more activity over there, if that's possible. Joe, go spend some Bean, would you?
Hold on. How many? $1 million?
$1 million.
Done. I just burned $1 million with a Bean.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Just to help you out, man. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm already feeling the money's rolling in right now. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Don't forget my taste, though.
Shizzy said the Frax token is just a stable coin, right? So is there any way to invest in what they are doing? Oh, dude, there's like 100 things to do. It's not just a stable coin. It's an entire fucking ecosystem. It's FXX, their governance token. They have their own swap protocol. They are massive quantities, percentages of the liquidity that's available across DeFi. They're doing some amazing shit, Shizzy. I highly encourage you to go over there and look at what's going on. I need to get Sam back on. I haven't interviewed him in a while. So I may ping him. I may ping him to try to get him back onto an interview. So Niblet says, as Bean is under $1, digs that plot hole a little deeper. They need to stop that bleeding to draw in more participants. Yeah, where are we sitting right now? I don't even look.
I was just going to check myself.
0.9493. So off peg by 0.05, 0.041, which is bad. Not great, actually. And it just slows everything down, right? It's a self-fulfilling cycle. And the sad thing is this was a growing, booming protocol. And that fucking governance exploit has set it back significantly. So I'm going to air my opinions here, Joe.
Yeah, I'll follow up.
Publius is obviously concerned about, as a team, that's the core team developers that built this thing from the beginning. Admirable, ethical, decentralized, focused guys, right? So let me make that very clear from the beginning. But after the exploit, they dox themselves, right? Which now puts them, and they are Americans, and they are in America, which now puts them in regulatory crosshairs, as well as potentially other crosshairs from the regulatory perspective because of the exploit and people losing their money, right? Now, they made a good faith effort to recover that, to recover the protocol and everything else. So while they already have an ethos of full decentralization, they are pushing even harder to get themselves out of decisions, right? They're trying not to make decisions. They're trying not to tell people what to do. They're trying not to push things forward because they want the community to do it. But I think it was premature. And unfortunately, I understand their motivation to do that, but they're already exposed, right? At this point, I would like to see them drive it forward, right? Even if it's behind the scenes, not publicly, just pushing buttons to get more done, to get the protocol out there, right? More projects being built, whatever it is, using whatever treasury money is available for that to do that. I would like to see a lot more of that happening. And there's a big hole across all protocols in DeFi in Biz Dev, right? People are pretty comfortable with cross DeFi partnerships, although I'd like to see Bean doing a lot more. But most people are not comfortable with moving outside of DeFi for partnerships, and they're not being creative about the partnerships within DeFi. And I really want to see all protocols doing more of that. If you want to watch a champion of Biz Dev, just go fucking check out Sam Kazemian's conversations, his Twitter feed, and his responses in Telegram, and then go back and look at all of the fucking deals that Frax has done. They do not stop integrating. They do not stop. It is constant flow of integrations. They want to be a part of every aspect of DeFi, and they are not slowing down. If you got a protocol, that's the kind of shit you do. And you want to talk about somebody with exposure, Sam Kazemian's an American. He is in the United States of America. He has built a stable coin. He has built a token that takes on the CPI. He is building an entire infrastructure of DEXs and lending and swapping and everything else. That man is exposed, right? But he's just all in on saying, I'm going to take this and run with it. And so I would just encourage folks to get a lot more aggressive about partnerships and biz dev and doing what they can do. I guess my semi-rant is over.
Yeah, it's not that. I mean, look, you're spot on. It's not, they just need to kind of, not batten down the hatches, but just push through this right now because everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows where they are. Everybody knows what regulatory regime they're under. And now it's time to push through that. I mean, look, we got plenty of guys we can refer to them as far as like SEC lawyer type people. So, when you talk to them next, if you encourage them to push forward, they should couple up with somebody like that too. Because I think this is one that they can work through. But if they play tentative right now, then the market's going to kill them. And then, people smell blood in the water and it becomes a juicy regulator target too.
Well, and the regular target, and what spurs the regulators even more? If the protocol collapses and everybody loses their money, then guess what happens next? The lawsuits happen. And the lawsuits will say it was a security, and they issued a security. Even though they didn't do a sale, they didn't do a token sale, they took no VC money. They did all the right things for creating a true DeFi ethos protocol, right? And normally they probably would be low on the target list. But because people lost money in the exploit, and now they're in a position of kind of this degrading performance that's just grinding itself down, it makes it even more difficult it makes them more of a target. You know, it makes them more potentially. So I get it. I'm not asking these guys to go out there and make, you know, constantly be publicly speaking about it. But behind the scenes, I'd like to see somebody driving this shit, you know?
I mean, you're already out.
I think the project has potential. And I'm not just saying that from the perspective of I have money in it. I'm also saying that from the perspective of this project has fucking great potential. It has unbelievable potential. It was functioning beautifully. It was running great. It was doing well. It never failed. The only failure was on the governance side, on the exploit, which had nothing to do really with the protocol. Now, you know, there can be all kinds of arguments made about that and the security of that, but that's the reality. So Shizzy says, I got to take a deep dive into Frax. Dude, here's the biggest problem with Frax. Frax is brilliant. Frax is killing it. Frax is developing. Frax is making money. Frax is seeded throughout the entire ecosystem. Frax never stops releasing new shit. Frax wants to own everything in DeFi. The biggest problem with Frax is the biggest problem we have in all of DeFi, and that is our dependency on USDC. I shouldn't say that's the biggest problem in all of DeFi. One of the problems in DeFi is our dependency on USDC, which also makes it a regulatory risk, as well as other risks surrounding that protocol and that company. But otherwise, it's really tough to find fault with them. And here's a guy that's running all this shit, and he's constantly answering questions on Telegram. I mean, there's an entire bot on Twitter that takes all the questions that get asked of him in Telegram and posts the answers he gives. It's amazing. I don't know. I don't think the guy sleeps. So
I can't do that anymore. I know. It's like, I'm only good for a couple of months of that, and then I'm like burnt. Yeah. But look, the other thing he's got, I think he's got all the on ramp and off ramps pretty tight. So I think that's what keeps Frax in good stead, let's say. But it's an algorithmic stable coin. So, that's the one that everybody, that's the buzzword du jour amongst everyone is, oh my God, algorithmic stable coins.
Well,
when personally, I think algorithm. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that's a negative from my perspective. I'm just saying that, that's on a list somewhere, the stable coin list that everybody's looking at. But I love it myself. I mean, I really like what he's trying to do. In that, as long as it's not tied, directly to his own other token as collateral, then it works. Yeah. I don't think he's using what's his other token?
FXS and CPI.
Yeah, I don't think
and FPI.
They're not being used as collateral in the to the algorithmic stable, are they? No, I don't think they are.
No, not
exactly in big quantities.
Yeah. But here it is. So the stablecoins.wtf calls it a hybrid, right? Because it is over collateralized, but it also has an algorithmic feature to it. But look at this market cap, $1 billion. I mean, we're in the middle of a fucking massive bear market, and they could be in a position of a Bean or another stablecoin that didn't have all these integrations. But because they have spent all of their time integrating themselves into every protocol they can find and anybody that wants to integrate, that's why they still have $1 billion in market cap, right? And even though they're not even seen as the top stablecoin in the space, $1 billion in market cap because they never stop plugging in the partnerships. And in DeFi, here's the other thing. I've spent a good chunk of my 26 years in tech. A big chunk of that was doing partnership deals. And it is in the real world, in Web 2, it is an arduous, painful process. Integrations of the tech, getting the specifications together, understanding how you want to work together, negotiating the deal, setting up the deal, and then making sure the shit actually happens, right? Which is the biggest problem with any partnership. We're in a world where partnerships, where you cut out 75% of the bullshit, maybe even 90% of the bullshit. Composable protocols that you can hook up to, open source public APIs, no permission needed to actually access shit and integrate and do it. And then all you're left with is there a revenue share deal here? Can we do something to help each other? Do we announce it together? I mean, there is zero excuse for not, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm on this Biz Dev rant today, but there is zero excuse for not having an aggressive Biz Dev program if you own a fucking protocol. You should be knocking on every protocol's door.
I think my observation on that is that a lot of people starting protocols, developers, they're about products,
Yeah.
and they don't. I'm not trying to diminish them. I'm just saying they don't think about that. They think build something cool that all my buddies like, and people will come, and they're right, they will. But you have to augment that with the heavy lifting and the grinding of putting together multitudes of BD deals, because you never know which one's going to pop and be
Right.
like the huge win for you. So you got to do them everywhere and
Yep.
not just wait. You
Exactly.
can't, you're not McKinsey at that point, taking inbound calls. You got to go find people.
Yep.
And if you're an introverted person, like a lot of, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of developers seem to have an somewhat introverted personality. They don't want to pick up the phone and call people because it's painful, the phone.
Yep.
They don't want to reach out because it's a fear of rejection.
Right.
And you really have to understand that rejection's not rejection. Rejection just means not right now.
Yep.
And so, the way you approach people is that it has to be through sharing and collaboration and relationship building amongst the people. And then you'll find the right BD deals. So you just got to so somebody has to be doing that. I mean, Brad's done this. I did a lot of more corp dev stuff where it was strategic partnerships with investments and things, but it's basically, BD is 60% of those deals too.
Yep.
So, it's all about where do I get more revenue, or where do I get more customers, therefore more revenue, or where do I get more tech?
How do I tap into somebody else's community and make it something that's mutually beneficial to both protocols? That's all you got to think about.
Yep.
Do they have a fervent community that want to support the protocol that they're a community in? Cool. Check mark. How can I integrate my protocol with them, create a product around them, or just utilize their protocol in my protocol that benefits them and benefits me, so that community is going to go come over and play with us, right? And learn about us. It's what I say all the time to founders. There is a place for marketing in DeFi, but it's going to be more important later, kind of old school marketing or digital marketing or whatever. The real marketing right now is biz dev partnerships and potentially acquisitions.
Yeah. The other thing though is when you're looking at that, what does it do for me? Your pitch should always lead with what you can do for them.
Exactly.
And, not talking as much about what they're going to do for you, because you don't want them all of a sudden thinking, well, wait, we got like 9 things they need and they got one thing we need.
Yep.
How do we weight this to our advantage? You want them thinking that, this is just manna from heaven for them. And, you're going to help them make more money. I mean, that's the pitch. But yeah, to Shizzy's point, what the heck on the BTC?
Look at that wick, man. Dude, that's crazy. Holy shit. So right now, Bitcoin, Shizzy had alerted us that Bitcoin almost hit 19,000, sitting at $18,731.90 at 12:15. So in the last 30 minutes, it's climbed $540.
Nice.
Somebody's pumping her.
I'm just going through my quick list.
Shizzy said, just a heads up, Bitcoin almost hit 19,000 a few minutes ago. I know it won't last, but this feels good, laughing out loud. Yeah, totally. It's great. Look, it's fun to watch this shit pumping up.
Well, it's up 7.5%. So, I mean, that's a huge, huge day. And ETH is up almost 7% right now. Damn. So,
did ETH have the same kind of
I'm like
there? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. You were kind of breaking up there.
I said, did ETH have the same kind of spike there? I just wanted to look up I went and loaded up the.
Yeah, I just was overlooking in the Coin Market Cap app. But yeah, lots of stuff up right now. So
ETH broke 1,400. That's good news. Mm-hmm. Hope it maintains that. I'd like us to chop sideways here. Although I will tell you, Sean and a lot of other people I respect say enjoy this for the next couple of days and then expect a ride down to 13-ish range. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But that's good to see. Yeah. You can't disagree with that, dude. Up 10.96% in the last 7 days. ETH up 13.75% in the last 7 days. I'll take it.
I'm curious what, I know a lot of people expect that leg down, and, I'm probably one of the ones that thinks that somewhat too, you know. But I always remember in the past that anytime stuff starts running, we never really notice until it's a couple weeks after it's been going. You know, but then we're like, hey, maybe this is for real. But either if it is or it isn't, you know, what are the strategies? It's like ride it up some, sell some, trim the sails, get some dry powder. You know, if it keeps going, it keeps going. If it corrects, then you got some more money to DCA into or buy the dip. So, but you know, again, I think we've all learned the lesson that stuff does not go up forever. You know, in a straight line. You know, you take a 100-year time window, and you know, BTC chart will look like it's gone up forever.
Yeah.
But you know, we just don't see that day to day or hour to hour or minute to minute change that we see when we're watching all the time. So that's the only thing that's kind of nagging me a little bit. And you know, you think, what's the big macro events? Not you know, force majeure or what people call black swans out there. I mean, the only thing I see out there right now is, you know, the Ukraine war, China COVID ripping, you know, but, you know, it seems like, I mean, our death rate's going up here, but it doesn't seem like there's any panic out there to me. It doesn't seem like it's really, you know, stacking up, this variant running here. So I don't see anything shutting down economies here. So
no, not here, but I hear there's bodies piling up in China like crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they're everywhere. And they're all taking it back to the rural provinces, I think, this week. And there's like no hospitals there. So,
I am hearing from people here, like just this morning, we got a call from a friend who she avoided it for 3 years and now she got hit. Right. So I think this one is this variant is escaping some of the
XBB. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna look.
No, but I don't think it's gonna knock us out. No, not at all.
Yeah, I think almost the big death curve has already happened, and you know there's going to be more, but you know it's not like it was at the beginning. So I don't see any of that shutting down. So you know, provided we can manage this sort of soft landing and not have the rest of the world go into the total tank, you know, then we should be turning. Maybe that's what coincides with the, you know, the 13.5 number that the guys are talking about. I don't know, but definitely something to pay attention. But, you know, I think things look pretty positive. Now I'm sitting in 75-degree weather with the sun out too. So I'm not in the Arctic tundra locked in for 5 months, you know, where everybody's sicker. Well, Brad's sounding a little sick over there. Should be careful.
Yeah, I think I've some form of variant of long COVID.
Yeah, no, we all caught it once, twice, 3 times. I mean, it's just ripping through everybody. But, you know, if you're young and healthy, you know, I mean, I'm vaxxed and boosted, but, you know, I don't care if anybody else is or not. I just chose to do it.
Right.
But, you know, it's like I find myself going to restaurants. I was in one last night and, you know, there's like, you know, 5 or 6 people wearing masks in there. Nobody else is. Right. I mean, I'm done with masks at this point, except for planes. But, you know, I think we're okay is what I'm getting at. And I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
I expect everybody to do the worst thing possible, but I am an optimist. So, absolutely. You know, to me, I think who knows? We could be looking in June and saying, God, we missed that big bump up to April or something. I mean, when it goes, it goes. So pay attention.
Shizzy said XRP losing the case could be a death spiral for alts. Are you hearing news about the XRP case? Because I haven't heard anything. And I'm not so sure that XRP, well, I guess that does make sense theoretically that if XRP is ruled security, that it's going to kill a lot of alts that did ICOs, et cetera.
Good, but, you know, I mean, XRP is it's a high profile case because they're fighting and they're, you know, digging in and they're, you know, exposing a lot of stuff that people don't want to talk about, it seems like to me. But I don't know, it might be looked at differently than the rest of alts. I mean, the SEC considers it all securities. I don't care what they say. That's what they think. These are all securities because people are raising money. Doesn't mean that it is a security. It just means that they did actions that were what people who have securities do, you know, raise money. So I don't know if it's a death knell for everything else. I think a lot of people are just sick of Ripple right now in general. So maybe for it, but I don't think that anybody wants to kill it right now. I have a feeling would be
As I always say, I want nothing to do with the project personally, but I will fucking tell you, of anybody fighting regulatorily wise besides the library, XRP is doing what every protocol that can should do. And that is fighting hard like they're fighting. So I have to give them absolute full credit for doing that. Now, of course, that's to save themselves, et cetera, but you can always settle at some point in these things, and they're not. They're going hard to the wall against the SEC. And so that to me is I'm very pleased that they're doing that on behalf of all of us. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be a fanboy of the project. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're not doing it for altruistic reasons or anything like that. It's just that they want to win. But what's cool for us, even if we don't like Ripple, is that it hopefully will set some precedents in here of, what is a security? Because the next discussions are all going to be about ETH. Yep. Because all the nodes are in the US, is it a security now? Because it went to proof of stake from proof of work, is it a security now? It's like, this shit's just got to be figured out, and so we know what rules to play by in this country.
Yeah, look, I think the barrier for ETH is the same as Bitcoin. There's a shit ton of fucking TradFi money in it and institutional money in it, and they're probably not going to play any games with that one. But who knows? Niblet says,
I don't mean it like that. I just mean in the sense that they're always going to keep extending the arguments, and we need to define it now with Ripple. What is what?
Yeah,
and that's why I applaud them for. Absolutely,
I do too.
But
absolutely,
I agree with your point though too. So,
Niblet says, what other crypto dangers are out there? Tether collapsing for all the reasons people have been warning about for the past 5 years. I think that I don't think that is going to happen at all, and I think that any sentiment around it potentially happening is pretty much fucking baked in. And we have enough alternatives now, BUSD, USDC, and then all the algos, the Fraxes and the Beans of the world, that I'm really not worried about Tether. I mean, there would be an immediate, I should say this, there would be a big impact if somehow Tether completely just collapsed or got shut down to the market, because there's still a lot of dependency on it. I think it would be a lot less impact on DeFi, just because we have a dependency on USDC instead of USDT in this space. That would have an impact on price and ripple down to us. Whatever the regulatory reason for shutdown, if it was a regulatory reason, would ripple down to the whole space. So I can't say unequivocally, but I'm actually not too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, with all this Tether, we've been experiencing Tether FUD for a couple of years now. I mean, I'm not saying it's FUD, it might have been truth. But now they're supposedly backed 100% by US Treasuries. So to me, that is huge. I mean, I would love to see the proof of it, to be honest. I think they give something to the New York financial authorities as part of that settlement. But I'd really like to see that, because before, we know that they were in a bunch of Chinese commercial paper and a bunch of other commercial paper that, wasn't at par value of that value. It was worth 15 cents on the dollar. So, but we know that US Treasuries are at the value of the market. So, if they are indeed backed by that, I don't think there's any trouble here. But what I'm curious about is that when people rotate, I own very little Tether right now. I just kind of rotate into the other ones. USDC, I'm not really cool on the wallet stuff they do, but, I'm not uncomfortable with it either. Sometimes I use DAI. Sometimes I use, it's pretty much, I think, those three. But, when you move from Tether to, say, USDC, and everybody else, you're getting the USDC, somebody else has the Tether, whether it's an exchange or a market maker or just another person on the other side of the trade, it still has a real value. So I just don't see how it gets sucked out of the market right now. If you were going to, you can't burn it really. We know how Tether's created, how it's printed or minted, but, if you want to start pulling Tether out of the market, I'm not quite sure how that exactly happens. Because if there's a $60 billion market cap and you're like, shit, that might be a little, the US state regulators are like, dude, that's just too big. You got to make that smaller. And then you try to pare it down to say 30 billion. How do you do that? Right. I know somebody knows there's got to be a mechanism. There's some way to burn it. But does that mean then Tether is paying out cash to people who hold, reverse mint kind of thing, to debit card or something? I don't know. But, to me, I think that might have problems, but I feel a lot better about it since over the last 12 months.
Euphoric, in terms of a danger to the space, is Sailor getting liquidated. Yeah, dude, that would be a massive impact on price because that'd be a shit ton of Bitcoin dumped all at once. Although, I mean, we're still paying for it, but we did survive the Terra dump, which is less than Sailor's, but still a significant amount of Bitcoin getting dumped on the market. But yeah, I agree with you. Sailor getting liquidated would be a significant hit to the space. So
yeah, anyway. What would you think about like if maybe like say Tesla or Twitter went down for whatever reason? What would you think that would have an effect on the space? Since no, nothing. Okay.
Now look, I mean, if Twitter went down, like you couldn't use Twitter, that would be actually a pretty significant impact on the space.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see where everybody flocked to, right? Because look, the communication channel of DeFi is Twitter, and then Discord and Telegram, and so but most of the news, most of the information comes through Twitter. That's where we all get it. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Hey, speaking of which, did you set up that Telegram channel for us? And I'm not in it yet, or okay?
Yeah, I have. I'll add you to it, but I haven't done anything in it yet. So
okay, cool.
We'll launch that next week. Get everybody in it.
Sweet.
Niblet said Tesla deciding to take and then not take BTC seemed to have a material impact on BTC price. Yeah, I mean it did. It did have an impact. Look, there are all kinds of things in the news that can happen. I got to tell you that after the last year, it's going to have to be a pretty fucking massive thing happen. I think that.
Yeah, like if you find like there's a double spend coming out of the Mt. Gox thing, like all of a sudden there's like, wait, how do we get to 40 million Bitcoin? It's like, what happened? Yeah. That's the kind of shit that like it would have to be something that just takes out the underlying value of BTC somehow.
Yeah.
Because even when I talk to the TradeFi types that own BTC, they're like, these are true believers of BTC, but they're like, they're not selling, but they're not buying either. They're just sitting there. So to me, I'm kind of like, what causes, what changes everybody's mindset to not believe in it anymore? Yeah. And it would have, that was something that someone, one of our New York friends told me like last year, that was the thing that they thought. They didn't think it was going to happen, but they were saying it had to be something like that, where all of a sudden you undercut the value. But I don't see anything like that out there.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Bitcoin black swans to zero, we got bigger problems. Something else has happened in the world. We're all running for shelter, or
we're glowing.
Exactly. So that's not my concern. Niblet says, but the space has evolved a lot. Are the days of Elmo moving prices with tweet finished? Only if he picks another shitcoin. I think he has the power to pick another shitcoin and make it move. Or he could theoretically announce, Twitter's integrating Ethereum and Bitcoin for all payments, will not accept credit cards anymore. And here are the 10 cool things we're launching that people can buy with crypto. Something like that might move it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Or he says, I've created Elmo coin, and Elmo coin is now going to be the de facto currency for everything Twitter. Then, that might have an impact. But
it could be a dog eating coin. It eats dogs.
I love killing him, Elmo. That's fun.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was clever, Niblets. Hey, just one more quick question, just to remind me. So Tesla's not holding any more BTC, right? They dumped it all?
I don't think they dumped it all. I don't think they dumped it all. Let's see. Has anybody done an Elmo?
So that's what I was getting at.
Should we launch Elmo coin?
Why not?
There's an Elmon coin. We should launch Elmo.
Elmon. It's like hell, man. Elmon. It's like, what is it that? Come on, Z down.
Elmo.
I'm just have a Jamaican reggae song going in my head when I'm seeing Elmon. Elmon.
No Elmo token that I can find so far. Oh wait, see all results. 100. Oh yeah, Euphoric says if there is one, it'll likely be deployed on BNB. That's true. All right, Joe. 1:00. Let's wrap it up.
All right, brother.
I got a busy fucking afternoon.
Yeah, me too. I got to get some docs.
I got a call.
What?
Bye, everybody. Love you guys. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Hey, guys, listen. I know there's a lot of you listening. Please smash the thumbs up on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Click the alerts bell. Please. All I'm asking you for, with all the fun we have together, all the love we share, we just need you to go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Take 2 minutes, click the 5 stars, and say, Brad and Joe are DeFi gods personified, or something else.
There you go.
Something, anything. Please go give us a review. Just take that. Just take that 2 minutes. That's all we're asking for. Not a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Joe doesn't need a lifetime supply of oatmeal. Just
No.
get us just reviews. That's all we need. Take it, please.
And remember, just on one thing, even we introduced you to Sean.
What else do you need? What else do
That's
you
it
need?
right there.
That's it.
And tomorrow is Sean Day. Sean in the
Day.
house.
So in
So be
honor of
there.
Sean, take 2 minutes
Go grade
out of
us.
your day today and go give us a review. Thank you. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Joe, have a great day.
You
We'll
too,
talk
buddy.
to everybody tomorrow, and Sean will be here. See ya.
All right, cool. See ya. Bye.
Bye.